welcome yet to another episode of The Last Drop Africa. My name is Bella Twine, and right now we have changed scenery. Of course, we are in one of the most beautiful places in Uganda, and we are surrounded by nature and amazing people, and of course, the legendary ChrisOgon. I'm so glad that we're going to do this outside because we're not here to soup the sea, we're here to talk about climate change and the role of activists like artists, people in the creative industry, and what they have to offer towards climate action and creating awareness. So I'm going to let Chris introduce himself and tell us more about himself.
Hello, my name is ChrisOgon. I'm an editorial cartoonist with Daily Monitor Nation Media Group. Yeah, that's what I do basically.
Okay, so I'm going to pump him a bit more by giving us more of what Chris does. Chris is an award-winning, widely published, often controversial, witty, and humorous editor or editorial cartoonist, currently working with Daily Monitor. He has had his work published in different countries, that is in Europe, the US, across Africa. He was born in Kavale district, Chigazi region, and Chris has lived the changes of climate. And also, he speaks to the Last Drop Africa about his role and other artists' role and creative people out there and their role in, making sure that we talk about the issue of climate change. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you.
All right. So, Chris,
Yeah.
you've grown in the areas of chickens, right? When you go back home, do you see the effects of climate change?
Yeah, certainly. Back home, my father keeps some cattle. There's a small farm which has been there for some good time. So it had streams, water streams within. But most of them have dried up. They have dried up, and if you go there now, they are covered with grass. They dried up, and I think soil came, I think, because of flooding. I don't know where the soil came from. So now I think we are left with only one stream. Most of the ponds, which were man made, they are no more because there is no water. We only have a stream, and which has very little water. So I would say that's an example. Changes in the climate, the effects of climate change around myself. And it's another place back home. There used to be a waterfall. It's no more. It has dried up. There's no more water. It's just a rock, no water moving because production has gone down. And here I'm talking about Irish potatoes because that's like the staple food where I come from. Production has gone down, and it's basically because people have moved from the swamps because government is trying to protect and conserve the swamps where people used to grow Irish potatoes. People have now gone back to the highlands, but there isn't much they can produce when they grow and plant Irish potatoes in the highlands compared to when they were doing the business in the swamps.
Do you think, and this is a conversation that most times I have with other people, is do you think that while those people in those villages are being taken out to make sure that they're conserving the swamps, the same thing is happening in Kampala. People are building houses in wetlands, and these are rich people. These are people who have got some money, and of course they're going to pay and build their
Corruption,
houses.
yeah.
But you won't find them being evicted. Do you think it's something that is into the system, or is the government trying to look out for climate change? We're trying to activate.
No, I actually think they are not doing enough. They only target those people because they are vulnerable and they can't do anything. They can't. They don't have the money to bribe the officials like people here do it. So it becomes very easy for government to run after those people in the name of protecting the environment. But I don't think it comes from a good heart or a good place that they actually care about the environment that much. I only think it's because the other people don't have money to bribe government officials that it becomes easy for government to run after them. Because when you look elsewhere, around Kampala, around other places, forests are going down, swamps are being reclaimed for people to construct houses, and nothing is happening. People threaten, then it takes some time, and people go back. And I actually think it's not it's not convincing. The struggle that government seems to be involved in to try and protect, and they could do a lot better. And I don't think they're doing anything that really makes sense.
That brings us to the big question of what are people who are, into the arts and creative industry doing in order to make sure that these stories are heard or these situations change, or make sure that this, for example, this lake doesn't dry up, or make sure that we continue having this cool breeze as we're doing right now.
From my point as a creative, from my view as a creative, I find it's boring. It's a boring topic, really. Climate change is, I've tried before. Like in a year, I find myself drawing like less than 5 cartoons, and I draw cartoons every day. But stuff related to the environment, I only do it when something has happened, catastrophe somewhere, maybe mudslides or flooding. Yeah, that's when I only find myself doing anything related to climate change, because I find it boring. I find the topic boring when you do it. It's also not easy to satirize climate change. Yeah, so I'm among those who are not doing enough to raise awareness and, in effect, protect the environment. What we can do, I really don't know.
Do you have any individuals that you know of that are doing that work, or that are trying as much as possible to try and make it interesting, or have the conversation going through arts, of course?
Apart from last drop,
Apart from Astro.
not very many people, really. Not very many people. The only campaigns I've seen have been sponsored by NEMA, but I've not seen individuals, especially creatives, come out strongly to raise awareness about climate change. Only a few individuals, politicians, of which I think most of them do it because they want to attract attention and funding. And I really haven't seen a person who, especially the creatives, who has gone out there and is really pushing the agenda of protecting the environment or raising awareness about climate change. I haven't seen many.
So you mentioned that you've done some work, like you find yourself doing like one or less a year. Did it ever make noise, or did anyone ever reach out?
Hardly. Really, the attention, and it's very easy to monitor reaction towards my work. People are more interested in politics and society and entertainment and lifestyle. Anything to do with that will attract attention. But when you do anything about climate change, the reaction really is, and even when I'm drawing, really, I don't expect as much reaction or attention to be paid to anything to do with the environment.
Just moving forward, just a word to the creatives out there, or even to yourself, like a word of encouragement or wisdom, is how do you feel, or how do you think this subject should be reported? Since you say it's okay, not really as entertaining as other topics, but how can we make it something that people can talk about? Because we see the effects of climate change. We see most times we have a lot of sun, or the other days we have a lot of rain, like it has been happening recently, and we don't see a balance in how the weather keeps on changing. But how do you think people should draw attention in a fun way?
I've seen campaigns done before. Most of them have failed, really. Most of the campaigns I've seen, not by creatives, but by environment activists, demonstrations and everything, and campaigns on radio, on TV, most of them have been ineffective because, but really I wouldn't want to blame anyone than the government. There's no goodwill, really. As artists, as creatives, there's a limit to which we can't do much, really. We are not doing enough, but we can't do much if there's no goodwill from government. Personally, I think I shouldn't be waiting for catastrophes and to react. I think we should, as creatives, and speaking on my own behalf, take the mantle, because what I've seen with people, the more you project something, the more they increasingly get interested in in a topic. So I think if we projected climate change and its effects enough in our works to the readers, I think they would, because really pictures compared to words and writings, and pictures go a long way in communicating. But like I said, we can only do much.
Yeah. Also, you see how the media is an agenda setter. Sometimes also the fact that we don't, until a landslide hits, we won't be reporting about.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I know for sure that government has some initiatives that it's doing to make sure that they are, I think it's the Prime Minister's office, to make sure that they are tackling the issue of climate change. But the issue is they don't involve the creatives. That's, I think, the other thing, because if they were involving the creatives, then probably there would be like
But you see, at the center of all this is politics. Because if I'm to go back to where I come from, NEMA and everyone concerned will come and chase away people from the swamps. When the president comes to campaign, he will tell the very people to leave my people alone. So the people get back into the swamps. Then when it's political season, the guy comes and sends them back to the swamps. So it's a cycle.
it's generally systems.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much for the discussion, Chris. I think every one of us has had a chance or a moment in our lives where we have been able or given platform to change, take action on climate change. And if you're out there and you have something that you can do about climate change, please do that immediately. Thank you so much for watching and listening to The Last Drop Africa. My name is Bella Twine, and I have been with these amazing people. So until next time, bye bye.